Let's slowly tune that one off, actually. So, first of all, a quick audio check. So, John, is it clear? Can you hear me? Can I hear you?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Brilliant, actually. Tarun, likewise, if you want to unmute yourself, is that working? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Ooh, good, actually. So, welcome everybody to another podcast series from AlgoDynamix. They tend to be every month, and it's all about getting very interesting people, very interesting speakers on stage. Can we learn something from them? Can they share their knowledge? Can we take something away? So that's the first half. The first half is being recorded. So now things are being recorded. And the second half, we'll switch off the recording and we will hand it over to the audience. So Q&A, audience discussions, and just raise your hand, come on stage, and we can have some very interesting discussions actually about AL and ML. So, okay. So good. John, first things first, where are you?
I'm currently in Devon, enjoying being just near Dalmore National Park, having a nice time, just enjoying nature and not spending too much time in front of my laptop.
Nature. Are you taking a break from machine learning, John? Is that why you? Clearly, you're not, because you're on a podcast. But
yeah. I mean, more break than usual, so that's good.
Okay, brilliant. Actually, then. Tarun, don't be shy. Unmute yourself. We give us some updates about the local scenery. Actually, we're always keen to hear that. So,
I'm here in beautiful Toronto, Germany. The snow has melted, so enjoying the springtime and taking some walks in nature. So having some nature walks. That's terrific.
Gosh, okay, good. Both great. Keep it healthy. So, thank you, Tarun. So, Tarun, I think towards part one, actually, please do sort of join us again, keep us updated on AlgoDynamix. But now we're going to hand over the mic to John, so to speak. So, John, once upon a time, 10 plus years ago, it goes back that long. I think you started developing was it mental wellness, mental fitness app? Is that correct? Just take us back, John, about, what was it, how was it, and anything you can tell us about the data and the machine learning back then. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So I first started off with developing Rise, which was a mobile smart app, integrating therapeutic concepts into interactive exercises, help people to track and improve their mental well-being. And initially, the idea was to simply provide a pretty basic application which the user could interact with these exercises, and that would be that. But I soon realized, after joining Sarah Cambridge, which is actually what I'm at there in the first place, I got lots of good mentorship and ideas on how we could improve the application actually help solve the problem, or people trying to understand, track and improve their mental well-being. I found that data science and machine learning had a part to play in that. And as soon as I started to integrate that into the application, that's when I really found the spark for machine learning, AI, whatever you want to call it. That's when I really got the spark just over 10 years ago. So I founded that company, and then from there I went on to set up a consultancy, which was essentially in the healthcare space to begin with, which was creating end-to-end applications that were integrating data science and machine learning in a wide variety of applications. Since then, it turns out that these skills are not only desirable in healthcare, but telecoms, retail, automotive.
Across the board, isn't it, John? So we'll try and unpack them one by one, actually, but you have done a lot. And thank you again for being here today. It's the many different industries, which makes it incredibly interesting. So, okay, so Rise, on the mental side, well done. If I remember correctly, at some point there was some, was it feature analysis? Was it fraud? Was it financial, John? What was next in terms of numerous projects you've been involved with?
Yeah, let's see. So after I set up the sort of development consultancy,
yes.
What I then did is I actually got a scholarship from AWS and to do an intensive course specifically in AI applications. And so from that, off the back of that, I was asked to essentially get into more fraud detection, that side of things using machine learning. And that's where I really started to learn about applying machine learning to much larger applications for much larger businesses. I started to understand how complex these things can be and how it's not just about choosing the right algorithm. It's a lot about building large pipelines that are reliable and resilience, and so essentially be able to find and use large amounts of clean data. And then at that point, MLOps, which is ML operations, wasn't really a well-known thing. That's where I started to realize all the ins and outs of solving problems on a much larger scale.
I'm taking notes, John. So, two things: larger scales. Did I hear you mention clean data, John? I was slightly sniggering.
So I'll continue to describe what I was.
Okay, John. Apologies. Yes, I was slightly sniggering. That's why I went on mute. Actually, you mentioned clean data. Did I hear this correctly, John? The clean data bit. So, do you want to tell us about the clean data and the big data? Because I think that we can go on all day. So, John, any takeaways? Big data, clean data. Go ahead.
Indeed. Yeah, the promised land of clean data. Everyone thinks they have clean data until they actually take a look at it. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. All the customers I've ever worked with, and all the startups that I've been in myself, we've all had to experience that humbling moment where we take a look at the data and we think this, we're going to be able to create a machine learning solution with it. But the second we actually start to apply that in the real world, it's going to fall apart. Because you don't have enough data, or the data essentially is a bit of a mess. So actually, what I've really been enjoying over the last year or two, for some rather large companies in London, is essentially before getting started with any of the machine learning, it's doing a data quality piece first. So it's actually creating pipelines to assess the data quality, whether that's completeness, uniqueness, timeliness. There's a wide range of ways you can measure it, but then having that as an ongoing key performance indicator, a really important metric for the company to stay on top of in order before we really get started with trying to get into machine learning.
Wow. Okay. So clean data is one of their it should be one of their KPIs, John. Key performance indicators. Fascinating. Okay.
And that goes across business units. People think that it's just down to the data team within an organization, but it really comes from all the organizational units. That includes, let's say, a sales team, for example, sticking to the right standards and making sure they put in all the possible data they can.
Fascinating, John. Maybe putting words in your mouth or not. But based on what I've seen, once again, John, debate, contradict me here. So my experience has been, and that's where you're coming in with your numerous sectors. If there is a use case towards the end, it's easier to get people to sort of force clean data. If there's not much of a use case, the data will never be good. Do you agree with that, John? Am I disagreeing? Are we on the same page here? What's your view on that?
I do. I think it's the concept of the carrot or the whip, right?
Yeah.
So if you can show teams that this is going to be the output that's going to make their lives easier and they're going to be able to see value for themselves, then that's where you're really going to get buy-in. I've seen attempts on both ends, and they both have their pros and cons. Sometimes there needs to just be some rigid guidelines which say, hey, you really need to stick to this level of data quality with your team. If not, then we're going to have words. But usually a combination. If it's just done like that, then it's the same as any processes within a business. You have to have buy-in, and sometimes that requires a carrot, sometimes that requires a whip. And more often than not, though, you want to be starting with carrot.
Okay, carrot to get the clean data, and then once there is clean data, better data, enough data, I guess you could sort of do your job essentially. So fascinating, John. So that's okay. So that's big data. That's finance, I guess. Once again, most of your projects are obviously confidential. Anything else you could talk about? I think there was an auction site there too, John. There's some other bits too. There was a pensions. There's quite a few you've done, right? Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I think. One of the things I notice the most as I do more and more projects, especially with the large companies, is that it comes down a lot more to the people than it does simply the technology. I think when I first started going to companies, I would keep my head down. I'd say, okay, I'm just going to create this solution for you, and you can then integrate it and then watch your uncle. Yeah. What I'm realizing, kind of just what we touched on earlier, is that this needs to be an enabler across organizational units within a business. And if you don't have buy-in, then depending on what kind of tool it is, it might be more half the time I'm creating internal tools with machine learning just as much time for external products. And especially for internal products, just like you say, you need to be able to communicate the value not only to the people who are holding the purse strings to say, this is why we should create this and this is why you should bring me in. It's actually saying to all the other stakeholders, saying, this is why it's so important. This is how we're going to improve your lives, how we're going to help you, your sales team, or we're going to help to provide more feedback from customers, and whatever it might be. There's so much more to the people that you're working with, and really respecting the fact that there's more people than just the first people who have signed off on the budget and are giving you the initial requirements. So essentially, one of my biggest learnings is you've really got to keep the people in mind, and you can't just keep your head down with the data and technology as a silo.
No, I think those days are true, and that's where these terms, DevOps and all these fancy, they're not fancy terms. It's just making clear that there's clear use cases and monetization of the data, right, John? I think that's actually important, actually. So I occasionally mute myself, John, because I'm just sort of nodding in agreement too, actually, and the people and the behavioural stuff. Actually, we can go on all day about sort of plugging in AlgoDynamix here, which is predominantly behavioural, right? So I think that's what we're doing now. So fascinating, John. So I guess data quality, buy-in across different business units, make sure that there's a use case, make sure there's pull. The actual algorithm side, massive topic again. Actually, so much going on. Is it worth picking one of your numerous projects? Maybe, dare I say, a good one and a less good one? Yeah. So once again, you've done so much, John. So I know finance, non-finance. Just pick one where you say, okay, that's it. The data was clean. We had some good algorithms. There was a good outcome. So maybe sort of a few words about one of those projects here.
Absolutely. So I would say that the majority of the projects I come in where they have an existing machine learning function. But the two biggest things that I find that need improvements first on will be, again, like we say, data quality, but beyond just making sure that there aren't any nulls in the table, it's the machine learning team or the data team really getting their hands dirty and looking into data, doing some basic exploratory data analysis. By that I mean looking at some basic correlations or distributions of data, so that they can tell the story of the data before jumping into neural networks and doing more complex algorithms. So what I would say is that the usually the best way to get the low-hanging fruits is to have your data team be able to say, here's the story of our data. This is what it's telling us at a high level before saying, we can apply the latest fancy algorithms. Now, on the subject of algorithms, I remember, let's see, a year before coronavirus, I was consulting for a medical device company in the States, and they were looking to get FDA approval. And what I found similarly again is that you have frameworks now, especially with these low code and no machine learning options, which I'm not saying they're a bad idea at all. But what I find is that if you simply, use some a UI or use a specific service which basically says, select the machine learning model you want to use. Okay, neural network, and then decision trees or whatever. What I find is that a lot of what happens to junior teams, they'll select all of the different algorithms because using a coding language like Python these days, it's very easy just to say, okay, use X, Y, and Z, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the different algorithms, and then let's just choose the one with the highest accuracy. But actually, the best projects I've been involved in literally are just using logistic regression, linear regression, and to really get to know the data, to get to know the different features that have been selected, and only scaling up to more complex algorithms once they feel like they're confident with using the basic algorithm. So what I would say is that the projects that do best are the ones who use the basic algorithms, and they use that to help them to understand data, and they don't scale up until they feel like they're ready. And even then, usually you never need a neural network because it's too complex, and you just don't need it for most things I'm involved in. So personally, unless it's for unstructured data like images, video, etc., I very, very rarely use neural networks.
Wow. Okay. Gosh. Yes. Okay. So much gold dust, actually, gold bars in here, John. I've seen it myself, by the way, with dare I say, more junior teams, and I'm trying to be, constructive here. Jumping for the latest algorithm, jumping for the latest complexity, just because it sounds good. Actually, it's not the way to do things, is it, John? I think we've seen that. So.
No, and that's not to be say anything bad about with generative AI. We have specific algorithms that do a fantastic job of what they need to do for that. And linear regression would be able to do anything with those kind of things. But there's a time and a place, and usually if it comes to unstructured data or semantics, then there are specific fancy algorithms to use. But when we're looking at tabular data, usually we don't bother with neural networks.
Yeah, I mean, same here, by the way. I'm not a big fan of neural networks, actually, but that's just a sort of personal thing here. So, but yeah, okay. Good. So that's it. Okay, so yes, keep it simple, which I think applies to everything and everybody, right? So keep it simple type thing, build things up, right tools. The thing, I think, so good once again, John, when you started mentioning, today we have this luxury of just, infinite Python libraries. You can pick anything you want, and obviously there's an overfitting danger there. I'm assuming, right? There'll always be one algorithm that gives you the right answer. Well, short term gives you the right answer, but I guess it's probably not the right answer, is it, John? So.
No, exactly. Just like with so many things in life, there are no shortcuts if you really want to get the true success. And when it comes to machine learning, you have to just do the boring stuff. You have to get to know your data. You have to spend a lot of time cleaning it. You have to deciding how you want to clean it, how you want to measure data quality, and then using machine learning as a process to understand your data better, and accepting that it's an experiment. I think if there are any people on the school who are currently managing machine learning units, but they don't have expertise in machine learning or they're thinking of, one of the best things I can recommend is that you encourage conversations that include the word experiment, because I've been on the end of managing machine learning teams as well, and I've fallen this trap as well, where I've said, listen, we have deliverables. We need to have 95% accuracy by this time, and that is good to give some to put some pressure, to some encouragement on the team to get there. But at the end of the day, most of the machine learning projects I come into, they are actually experiments, and we're asking, can we find features within this data set that can predict fraud, that can predict specific health, or that can predict cybersecurity risk, or whatever it might be. But yeah, I'd say there's no shortcuts to good machine learning.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to sort of pause slightly here, actually, and maybe sort of dare I say, this is probably a good place to sort of bring in Tarun, actually, because I think Tarun, well, he's been quite lucky, actually, because everything was already done, everything was already made at AlgoDynamix. So we've been doing what you've been doing, John, what you've been suggesting for years and years now, and the end result is very clean data from our end, ready-made algorithm. So it comes in a box. But if you need to start from scratch, John, then absolutely, I don't think it is an easy ride. So okay, good. So Tarun, do you want to unmute yourself and just give us a bit more context, actually, since you've seen it both ends, haven't you, Tarun? So go ahead, yes.
Thank you, Jeremy. Hi, everyone. My name is Tarun. I'm the president of AlgoDynamix North America. I manage and oversee our North American business unit, AlgoDynamix. I guess I'll sort of just give you a quick, give everyone a quick overview of our different segments. We have a traditional software business where we provide financial forecasting for the financial markets. So the equity market, commodities markets. We sell our software to a variety of customers, high net worth individuals, tech entrepreneurs, small and medium sized family wealth hedge funds. If you wanted to try out our software, we offer a 3-month trial package. The cost is $3,000 US, and it includes analytics for 20 stock symbols if you're trading equities, 10 cryptocurrencies if you're trading crypto. We offer some additional services as well, such as back testing, sample portfolio construction. Then we have a fund partnership business where we co-launch new hedge funds, equities funds, commodities funds, and crypto funds, with small and medium-sized hedge funds that are looking to grow and expand, and also tech entrepreneurs who have some liquidity and want to start a hedge fund. So I'll just give you some, I'll run through some quick examples of our partnerships globally. In Hong Kong, we've partnered with a young sort of startup quantitative trading firm. We'll be launching crypto portfolio with them, launch a crypto fund with them shortly. Then in the UK, of course, we have our long-standing partnership with Solideye, one of the UK's oldest crypto exchanges. We've launched a crypto basket with them that's up and running and trading live on Solideye's exchange. And then across the pond in California, we've teamed up with Ranjan Nag, the Dr. Ranjan Nag, I should say, the legendary venture capitalist at his firm R42. We've launched an AI equity fund with them that's now trading live as well. So if you'd like some more information about, our partnerships, our software, or the company, you can reach out to Jeremy or myself. Reach Jeremy at AlgoDynamix.com, or you can reach me at Tarun at AlgoDynamix.com. And I guess that's about it. Thank you very much, and I'll turn it back.
Thank you, Tarun. I was very keen to get you on here, actually, because what John has just been describing, data purity, data analysis, algorithm, and everything else, I wouldn't say cheating, actually, but, we've done it in a box type thing. We've done it for financial services, obviously. If it's not financial services, if you want to, build it up again from the ground up, I think it's definitely conversation with John, actually, especially based on his numerous segments and industries he's operated at. But, as John was saying, it is not easy. And I apologize if you think you can just, use a sort of no code type thing. John, are you seeing that a lot? Actually, somebody thinks, we'll just get a quick no code, we'll get it up and running type thing. I guess you've seen quite a few of those cases, haven't you?
I'd say that those pieces, I've seen more and more in this like what?
Yeah, interesting.
They're thinking concept. And sometimes they're hoping that'll be enough. And then okay, that's not going to be enough. Especially if you're a machine learning first company, then no code usually isn't the right way. But I very much respect it as an option for proof of concept. For both.
Interesting. Okay,
it makes sense to me. But as soon as you're really considering about scaling up the business based on machine learning, it's probably going to be pretty hard. I'm sure there are use cases where you can do it. I haven't seen any yet. But that's part of the thing is I'm either brought in to build something from scratch with myself and or Cambridge Machine Learning Associates. To build it from scratch, at which point we almost always would never use no code because it just offers much less flexibility. And the other time I'm brought in is to fix something that isn't scaling well or isn't just the result they need. I haven't heard of it all the time yet when a non-code solution hasn't needed to be transferred to something a bit more granular with some manual machine learning experimentation done.
Fascinating. So there we go. I'm going to switch off the recording in about a minute now. So just to sort of summarize, I think, John's points about data purity, starting off simple, know what you're doing, getting the business units involved, and then Tarun, I think, giving us, the good deployment business aspect about, things are, of course, that's our story essentially, right, John, the AlgoDynamix one. We have things ready made in a box, data and everything else and forecasting. So there we go. So I'm going to stop the recording now. If you're live, you'll get part 2. If you're not live, I would suggest you turn up to the next one live. So stopping the recording now. So